closed the world, we all went inside and looked for ways to try to ease our minds. Forced into a change, I guess it had to be this way. But do your best to try to stay away. The day they closed the world, we all went inside, looking for the light. The day they closed the world, we all realized what it means to try. So hold on to the love, don't you be afraid. There come a time when you will have your say. And don't forget to pray the Lord to keep us safe. We will live to fight another day. The day they closed the world, we all went inside, looking for the light. The day they closed the world, we all realized what it means to try. I can feel it coming, I can see it miles away. I can feel the sun of brighter days. I can hear the laughter, I can see your smiling face. I can feel the love that's on the way. The day they closed the world, we all went inside, looking for the light. The day they closed the world, we all realized what it means to try. The day they closed the world, we all went outside, looking for the light. I can feel it coming, I can see it miles away. I can feel the sun of brighter days. I can hear the laughter, I can see your smiling face. I can feel the love that's on the way. I can feel it coming, I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming, I can feel it coming. The day they close the world.
And we are live. We are here. And I am so grateful to be here. I'm Debbie G. Welcome to Spirituality Gone Wild, Love Coach Academy, Conscious Recovery. In fact, welcome to all. We are on so many pages right now. It is so wonderful. I love technology. And with me today is the fabulous TJ Woodward, speaking of conscious recovery. Welcome, TJ.
Thank you, Debbie. I'm looking forward to another conversation with you. This is one of the highlights of my week.
Thank you. And as a highlight of my week too, hi everybody who's popping on. I see you, Paul McFarland. Oh, freedom, his favorite topic. So, like I do every week, you guys, I message TJ and I say, okay, TJ, what's our topic? Today, he comes back with a whopper. He says, how about true freedom? So I love that this is our topic today. And hello to everybody popping on. True freedom. What does that mean to you? You go ahead and feel free to start typing away in the chat, and I'm going to hand this right on over to TJ, and let's break this little cookie right open.
Yes, let's. So the reason, I mean, one of the reasons, of course, that I chose this particular topic for today is because we just had July 4th weekend. And for those of us who live in the United States, the conversation is freedom and freedom as a nation and the freedoms that we have. And I acknowledge that that external freedom is something that's really important. But what we're really talking about today is actually something much deeper, and that is freedom from the inside out, right? Because no matter what happens in the external realm, life can be really unpredictable. And so if I believe that the only way for me to be free is if I have external freedom only, I'm going to suffer because life is unpredictable. We don't know what's happening next. You know, we're going through a very interesting time in our country and in our world with COVID-19, with everything happening around racism in our country. So it's unpredictable. But what is predictable is the essential beingness that each of us actually is. And when we have a deep connection with or acknowledge our oneness with that, we're less bounced around by the conditions of life. So true freedom is an inside job.
Whew, true freedom is an inside job. And I absolutely love this. Because everything starts within, TJ. It's like it doesn't matter what it is. I like you without glasses too. I like the glasses and I like them without.
Well, thank you. I can't really see you without them, but it's okay because I can feel your spirit coming through.
Well, speaking of not being able, oh my God, I love you. Speaking of not being able to see, this is Candace. You just would adore Candace. She's so darling. Hi, sweetheart. I've just discovered today that my loss of freedom is one of my biggest challenges with Go Ahead and Behind. Would love to hear your insight on that and this experience. So Candace recently lost her eyesight. And so she's had all kinds of experiences where she's, having to experience the world totally differently. So what can we say to Candace?
Well, I want to start with acknowledging whatever you're experiencing as a result of that is perfectly okay. And I know you, Candace, probably already know that, but maybe somebody else watching or listening doesn't know that, right? Because a lot of us have been programmed very deeply that certain things are okay to feel and certain things are not. Certain things are okay to think and certain things are not. And when we go through such a life-defining moment, loss of a partner, loss of a job, a disease, loss of eyesight, something that's significant, I think the first step for me is to acknowledge it, to move toward it, and to allow ourselves to feel whatever's there. I think the number one thing that has helped me is I heard a brilliant person once say decades ago, the thing about grief and the thing about loss is whatever you're experiencing, it's perfectly okay. So starting with that and honoring the process, and I don't know what you've experienced, Candace, as a result of this happening in your life, but I'm going to guess that there have been different stages, right? One of the stages, of course, is turning to gratitude and looking for all the wonderful things that can come from it. But we don't necessarily want to, one, bypass all the other pieces and jump right to that. And we certainly don't want to say to someone, well, I'm sure there's a silver lining in this, right? Nothing could be truer and less useful, because it's really about honoring the experience. And I actually would love to hear from you, Candace, what this has been like for you. If you're willing to type in a little bit of your experience, because I think it's profound when we can have compassion for someone else's experience, acknowledge I haven't experienced that, so I'm curious what that's been like for you. I have experienced loss. I've experienced a lot of traumatic events in my life, and it is true that in the end, there was something really beautiful that emerged from it. But that's not to dismiss the pain that it was when I was in the middle of it.
Yeah, I love this. And what I've just did is I know Candace. She's also part of Love Coach Academy. So I just sent her the link. So Candace, feel free to join us and we can talk to TJ directly.
Oh,
So
wonderful.
it's in your messages, Candace. Just come on, and we can. And actually, I love that Candace would come on and talk to you. She's also follows you with Conscious Recovery, and I know that she was interested in going to your meetings as well.
Oh,
But
wonderful.
take a look at what she's responded so far as having to be fully reliant on others or technologies, losing privacy, my capacity to do things on my own have really challenged my sense of freedom.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I'm supposed to be over handle this better. It's hard not to judge myself as to how I've been navigating this. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
mm,
I think, what you're saying, Candace, is so powerful because I know for myself that I have a narrative that's in my mind. Sometimes I'm not even aware of the narrative. And quite frankly, sometimes it's not even my narrative. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's mom talking, right? Or, oh my gosh,
right, yeah.
there's grandpa talking, right?
Yes,
So we
totally.
take on these voices. And one of the primary voices, I think, of people in our culture now is some version of, we should be better at this. We should be better at getting through this. Some of us might say, I should be more spiritual than this. And so, what I've come to recognize is that it's not about getting rid of those voices, it's about having a place of reverence for them. So let me explain what I mean by reverence, because so much in our culture is telling us we need to get rid of the negative voices. You hear people saying, crush it, knock down those walls, those barriers. I really like to be really gentle with myself. And I start by having reverence for those voices, those voices that tell me I should be in a different place. I should be more successful. I should be more open, all those shoulds. And, we've all heard this by now. We're not going to should on ourselves, but
Please
it's
don't should
really
yourself.
no shoulding on ourselves. But it's really, I think it's about having compassion and then starting to question those and honor that whatever it takes you to get through this is perfectly okay. It's beautiful that you're reaching out and letting us know what's happening. And I really honor the idea and the experience that you're having of loss of privacy and asking people for help. That's for me. I'll just be really transparent with you, Candace. That's a challenge for me. I'm a very, very independent person, and there's a light and a shadow to that. And I don't know if you relate to that, Candace, but I like to do everything myself. And so asking for help has been a learning curve for me. And that's some place where there's some old tape there. There's some old belief from childhood that tells me that I should be able to handle it on my own.
Yep, I completely resonate with that. Asking someone for help, that was a big one for me too. I remember, okay, so gosh, this is a while back, but when I had my hysterectomy, which has now been 2003, so it's been a while, I almost died. And I could not take care of myself. So I had no food or water by mouth. I was in ICU for 4 weeks. And when I got out, I had to be helped. I had to have help to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's so odd when you have to give up all of your everything. You have to rely on another human being for every little thing, including even eating, because otherwise I wasn't going to eat, being spoon fed. I mean, I remember going through that, and now I look back, and as you were saying that, it's like, so that's the reason I didn't want to give up. So we get put in these positions to have to relinquish the control of wanting to handle everything ourselves, and really having to step into a different space with accepting help. So Candace, if you want to continue, honey, why don't you pop on? I sent you the link because that's a lot to read. So you can come on and we'll just have a conversation. Okay. She's kind of getting into her story, but if she comes on, then it'll be easier to go into that story. It's too difficult to do it this way. So, but yeah, so freedom comes from within. It's an inside job, just like everything else is an inside job. Right now, a lot of people are feeling a rattle with freedom because they have to wear a mask or they've got to do this. We're being told what to do. If you're like a rebel, like I am, the only difference is we're rebels with a cause. We get our little selves, our panties in a ruffle, when we get told what to do.
Mhm.
I don't know about you, but I do. Anybody, if you like had any felt like this, just this opposition to having to do something that you're being told you have to do right now.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is there's some of us have been around certain, support groups or organizations, if you will, where there's a focus on looking at like defects of character. There's something wrong with us. And I like to look at it as superpowers, right? These are all superpowers. Rebellion is a superpower when I don't have the volume turned up super high. When I have the volume turned up super high, it becomes something that's detrimental to myself and to the people around me. But when I'm able to say, because rebellion in balance is I do question authority. I do question what I'm hearing on the news right now. I don't believe everything that the media is telling us. Do I wear a mask? Yes. Do I believe that that's the one and only answer that's going to save everyone? No, I absolutely do not. And I said this the last time, Debbie, it's not a conspiracy theory to say that the major news networks are owned by corporations and the way they get their funding is by ratings, right? And so that's not good or bad. It's just what it is, right? And so fear and the pandemic of fear, we know that when we go into a tightening, a fight, flight, freeze response, it actually takes our immune system. It really pretty much destroys it. So that to me is even more important. Like, am I buying into the hysteria around this? Am I thinking that I'm unsafe? Am I notice what's happening in my body? Am I tight? Am I shut down? Those all have a profound impact on the immune system and our beliefs. We have physical, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. And unfortunately, in Western medicine, we primarily focus only on the physical. There's a lot more going on to COVID-19 than just the physical. There are other aspects of it. There's other ways we can stay well. I will not buy into the paradigm this is a deadly virus. It doesn't mean I'm pretending like it's not there, nor am I being insensitive to the people who have died from it. My heart goes out to that. I have friends who have lost friends. I feel for them. But when we have a paradigm of, oh my gosh, I might die if I walk out of my door, there's all sorts of implications about that.
I completely agree with you 100%. We could really, I would love to be able to have just a whole conversation and say what I really think, but then we get shadow banned and then we can't, they don't share us as much.
Well, and for anyone watching right now, if you go back to last week's show, Debbie and I talked about cancel culture, right? So if you have a different point of view, we're getting canceled these days, right? They're even taking things down from YouTube that aren't,
Yes.
I mean, this is going to be a funny example, but early on when COVID-19 happened, I said, I don't know what causes COVID-19, but this is the cure. And there was a picture of the band, The Cure, and Facebook blocked it because I was, and it was meant to be a little levity in the midst of this. And so again, I don't mean to be insensitive to people that are afraid and that have lost people, but there's a lot more going on than just what the media is telling us.
Yep. Wisen up, people. Get smart and start doing your research. I will say that much.
Yeah.
So our Candace is here.
Yay.
I'm going to bring her on up. Candace, welcome.
Hello.
Candace, this is
Hi.
TJ, Candace, TJ.
Hi, TJ.
So happy to be with you.
Likewise. Thank you for the invitation.
Yes, indeed. We love trusting spirit on this show, right, Debbie?
Absolutely, we so do. I'm going to put myself into the green room. I'm going to give you guys, I will be right here with you, but I'm going to give you guys the stage right now to go ahead and have this incredible discussion that's about to come forward. I love how the universe conspires for greatness.
Yes. Thank you, Debbie. So Candace, tell me.
Yeah. Going blind? the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so technically, logistically, I've been going blind my whole life, but I didn't know until I got clean when I was 21, and I had to go through interferon treatment, which was known to mess with my vision. And then at the end of the treatment, a year later, I found out I had retinitis pigmentosa, which is incurable, autoimmune. But I just started living. So I was like, I'm not blind, I just needed large text stuff. And so I didn't do any of the blind things, I just went living my life and did really well. But 2 years ago, that all started changing. Like I moved to San Diego, and it's like right around the move from Boston to San Diego, my vision hit a very fast deterioration. And I swear, like every other part of my being deteriorated, and my life. And I've been feeling basically like crippled by my emotions for the last couple of years.
And where are you at with it now? What are you experiencing in this moment?
Profound gratitude for being here.
Yeah.
But I'm struggling with having faith and believing in myself and life. COVID came, and for me, the veil lifted, having access to community again and tribe. Now I'm in New Hampshire, so New Hampshire's a little different. So people that speak my language aren't as easily accessible to me here unless I'm doing my events and traveling, which was what I used to do. I have a temple and I run all these events and I travel around and blah, blah, blah. I can't do all that right now. So yeah, my birthday's on Saturday, and usually around my birthday, I get really like inquisitive. I'm on my moon, and yeah, I'm like wide open. And so I'm feeling the whole spectrum today, actually.
One of the practices that has been life-changing for me is living in the question. And choosing some open-ended questions that can open me up to possibilities, right? Because as I was saying before, and I don't know if you relate to this, but we've been taught to get rid of the parts of ourselves that seem negative. But what if it's not really about that? What if it's more about being open and curious, and having that curiosity open us up to more possibilities than our mind can conceive of? And so, for example, one question that might be really powerful for you is what's wanting to emerge in my life right now, right? And just be to sit with that. What's wanting to emerge, or what is the greatest gift I have to offer? Because I think it's easy for us to go into the everything happens for a reason. And I don't know if that's true, but I do know that we get to create meaning out of what happens, right? So I can call something terrible, or I can call something an opportunity. I don't want to dismiss the pain of the feeling, but I also don't need to label it. What are your thoughts or feelings about that?
The first vision I got is like, from the moment I found out up until a couple of years ago, I was living in the opportunity, the possibility. I was like, well, when there's a cure, great. And if not, I'm going to be an amazing shaman in the woods. And I was totally open, and so it's like there's this part, and it's like, okay, you never actually did grieve. You never allowed yourself to go to those places. This places, I mean, I have to spend this long in it. Like, how do I give myself that permission while also like trying to stretch myself? Like, hey, Candace, like, can get myself out? Like, not to continue. And not let it run the show.
Yeah. And so, two powerful questions I heard you say, right? How do I give myself permission to feel this? It's a really powerful question. And so, that might be one for me. What I do is like, I might write that question down and say, for the next 24 hours, I will sit in that. You know, how do I give myself permission, or what would giving myself permission feel like? And just be in that question. And then the second one that you asked that I think is incredible, and it's what I would ask myself is, when do I know that it's time to shift? Because there's a balance there, right? Of honoring the emotions, and when is it time to say, okay, I felt that, now let me do this pivoting or this shifting.
Yeah. My instant reaction, about giving permission, like creating conscious containers for like full permissibility, like the things that come up are anger, sadness, being mad at the universe, self-pity, things that I don't really want to give a lot of energy to. So, and in the past, I don't know, like I used to, but yeah, I'm really struggling. I've noticed that anytime I go to put the pen to paper, or like today, I tried making 2 videos and just like being really dark and letting it all out. And I'm like, I can't do it.
Would you be willing to do a short process with me?
Yeah.
So can we choose anger? It's the first one you said.
Yeah, but that makes me mad at you.
Okay, perfect. So just for a moment, we're going to talk to the anger. And this is a very, very simple 4-step process that recently emerged for me. And it might be counterintuitive. So the first step is gratitude. Thank you, anger. So if you'd be willing to say that with me, thank you, anger.
Thank you, anger.
I know you're trying to help me right now.
I know you're trying to help me right now.
You have been a great friend to me throughout my life.
Okay, look. You have been a great friend to me throughout my life.
And there have been times you have helped protect me.
And there have been times you have helped protect me.
Okay, so just sitting in the frequency of gratitude with the anger for a moment. And then the second one is a question for you. In what ways has anger served you? And I mean that genuinely. If you can get in touch with all the ways anger has served you.
There's a couple of people I punched in the face that I'm really proud of myself for a long time.
Okay. How else has anger served you?
It shows me areas that could use some light.
Okay.
Shines the light in darkness.
Yeah. How else has anger served you?
It allowed me to express emotions I would be scared to without it.
Okay. The third one is, in what ways has it not served you? Or in what ways has it limited you?
Creating unnecessary disharmony in relationships.
How else has it not served you?
Creating a disconnect from God, universe.
Okay. Anything else you want to share about how has it not served you?
Those sum up a lot.
Okay. And then the final step to this is, what do you really desire? What do you really want?
Happiness, joy, freedom.
happiness, joy, and freedom, and see if you can feel into the frequency of happiness, joy, and freedom.
I can feel it just brings up sadness because it's
Yeah.
like a distant memory.
Yeah. So it's okay to be sad. The sadness is very healing. The tears are very healing. So thank you, sadness. See, we can do the same process. Thank you, sadness.
Thank you, sadness.
Yeah. Now, the final piece to this, Candace, is can you acknowledge that happiness and freedom are within you?
Yes.
Can you feel where in your body those are living at this moment?
My heart, my head.
Yeah, so maybe just put one hand on your heart for a moment and just feel the happiness and the freedom that you are. And so what if it's not a destination, but it's already present? And just getting in touch with that energy that's within you. And then just spending time in the silence, feeling into that and acknowledging that it's already within you. And what are you noticing now?
Anger.
Okay.
It's just it. Yeah, I can acknowledge it's within me, and I can even reference point it to moments of my recent days in life, but there's just a lot of sadness because it's not consistent.
Yeah. And so you are, of course, your own best teacher, as we all are. What is wanted right in this moment for you? What do you think you need in this moment?
Freedom is a big word that's coming up,
Yeah.
but more in reference to freedom from the pressure I put on myself
Yeah.
to be somewhere I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for your vulnerability. I know that has been a powerful thing for someone watching, because anytime any of us not only tell the truth, but demonstrate it in such a beautiful way as you did, Candace, we're helping other people. And if anger comes up from that, then we just start the process again. Thank you, anger. Welcome back, Debbie.
Thank you. I've been enjoying this so much.
Yeah.
So what I was hearing is like how that we walk through our process from fear to courage.
Yeah.
And that even though it might feel like we don't have freedom or feel like inside like we have some trap, it's really fear. There's some peace there. It's the fear that holds us down. So when we start shifting where we're at with it, it's like we can walk through that. Courage, though. Courage to just be who you are. And Candace, you displayed that radically, awesomely. I love that. Candace has this great show that we do on Fridays called Fun and Frolicking Fridays. And she brings, being the youngest, I think, of all of our love coaches, brings the fun and the laughter and the joy. But one thing I also know about Candace is that she's very sensitive, and that she shows up more authentically than most people do. So I'm really grateful you're here, Candace. And, I think it'd be really great for you. Have you been able to check out TJ's Friday night meetings yet?
Thursday.
No,
Thursday.
Yeah, I missed it last Thursday, but I should be able to do it this Thursday.
Yeah, Thursdays at 7. We'd love to see you.
Yeah, that's at 10 o'clock my time. So that's a tough
Oh,
one.
right.
Yeah. So I have to do push-ups for that one.
And let's chat after, because I'll send you a conscious recovery workbook, and it's an online experience as well that you can do online that's purely audible. So that would be another thing for you.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
things that are audible would be really great.
And also, Debbie, I didn't even think to announce this, but the Conscious Recovery audiobook came out on, I think, Friday. So
You're
it's
joking.
out. It's in my own voice. Do you know I recorded it a year ago? And because of COVID-19, it took them, 20 weeks to get it up or something. So I'm super grateful. It just came out. It just came out on Friday. So you can find that on Audible as well.
So you go to Audible and you go for conscious recovery. Oh, I'm going to
Yes.
go. I want this on Audible. I'm going to go to Audible. I'm making myself a note. Anybody else making themselves a note? So you go to Audible and then you look up TJ Woodward and
Yes.
it's conscious recovery. Conscious recovery. You look it up. Okay. You could also go to tjwoodward.com and then there's also your programs that are through wholehearted.org that I wanted to talk
Yes.
about too.
Yeah. There's a fully immersive online experience that is conscious recovery on wholehearted.org, and also a clinical training for any professional working with anyone who might be going through an addiction, especially people, who have a private practice, a healing practice, a therapy practice, counseling, and maybe you don't have the experience of helping someone with an addiction. So conscious recovery, the training for professionals can really help. And you get 10 CEs for taking that particular course.
Yeah, personally, that's like my, how rad is that? Smart. Go to wholehearted.org, you guys, and you get continuing education credit. Keep go do that. I mean, seriously, I don't know. I personally, I think it's one of the most incredible books I've ever read, and I mean, it really is. There is just no words for it. If anybody
Thank
is
you, Debbie.
listening, you're very welcome. Anybody who's actually, if you're watching right now and you're thinking, I really should, I needed something new to read. Now you can listen to it, so you can do either or. And Audible, a lot of the times, if you don't have it, just so y'all know, you could get it for free. Because if you go to Audible and you've never had Audible before, they'll give you a free trial with 2 credits, and then you can get it that way, and it wouldn't cost you a dime. Now,
That's true.
No excuses. We're in the no excuses land. Anyway, I love you so much, TJ. Thank you so much for coming on again and sharing this incredible light. Candace, thank you, as always. I love you, sweetheart. I'm going to bring you down into the green room.
Yeah, I'll just
So,
thank
all
you
right.
guys so much.
Hey, but hang tight because TJ wants to talk to you when we're done, okay? So, TJ, what an amazing time. What do you have coming up so that people can see you live? How can we get more TJ?
That's a good question. Jeremy Miller and I have been doing a weekly series online on Facebook Live, Conscious Conversations. Tomorrow Jeremy's interviewing me and Roland Williams. He's a pioneer in the addiction treatment field. He's amazing. That'll be a fun conversation. So you can go to the Conscious Recovery Facebook page. We also have Conscious Recovery podcast. So there's a lot going on. I love being in these kind of conversations and these experiences. This is my favorite. We also have twice a month, we have a Shift Happens webinar where we're live and we bring a different guest on. So there are just lots of opportunities. The best thing to do is probably follow Conscious Recovery on Facebook. That's where you're going to get the notifications.
Okay, you guys, so go to Conscious Recovery on Facebook, follow that, and get all the notifications. And for those of you that are watching this on Conscious Recovery, know that he does have a meeting. Your meeting is on Thursday nights. So if anybody is needing a meeting, then the Conscious Recovery meeting would be the one to go to. If you know anybody out there who is like needing somebody to talk to, needing a meeting, this is the place to come. Conscious Recovery.
Yep, and that's all on the Facebook page as well. That's an event each week on Thursday evenings at 7 Pacific time.
because TJ is just the awesomest like that. And I would like to give a huge shout out to my son Christopher. Today is 1 year of his sobriety, TJ.
Is that was a year ago?
Right. I can't even get over that, right?
Oh my gosh, that's amazing to me. That's the greatest gift I could have ever received today, hearing that news. That is incredible.
I'm grateful, and I'm very grateful to you. So you
Wow.
guys, a year ago, for those who are watching, my son decided to take the step to become sober. He was using heroin. And so it just so happened that Josie had an outpatient treatment. So he went outpatient. And then you were doing a live with Scott Katamas. And I was there, and Christopher was there and decided to come on live and share with the whole world. What I could tell you guys is that so Christopher met TJ. TJ sent him the book. The next day, like, he stayed up half the night reading the book. And then he got up the next day and he's like, oh my God, that's it. I get it. Like, he had this aha moment of, oh my God, I get it. And it was, so today has been a year since that happened.
Wow.
Since this, oh my God, I get it. That
is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful.
You're very, very welcome. And thank you for sharing your gift with this world, because of people like you, TJ, my son is alive and he's successful in his sobriety. And that's a big deal. And for those of you out there that have felt like you haven't been successful in your sobriety, and what I would highly encourage you to do is seriously get over to TJ Woodward's website, get a hold of the Conscious Recovery, go to Audible, get the book, and stop beating yourselves up about it, because it's not so not about that. It's so not. So TJ, with all my heart, I love you so very much, and thank you for being in my life and in Christopher's life and our whole family.
Thank you, Debbie, and thank you everyone for watching. I love these conversations. We never know what's going to show up. So, huge shout out to Candace for coming on as well. And thank you everyone who watches us most every Monday.
Yep. Love you guys. So have a wonderful, beautiful rest of your week.